Tonight on DC News Now, more bodies recovered from the deadly mid-air collision over the Potomac.
We should have a better picture once the cockpit data recorders and that are analyzed.
The latest on the investigation on how this happened. Honoring those who lost their lives in the crash.
If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be an aviation officer.
Hear from friends and family sharing their memories of their loved ones.
We'll keep riding the uphill on the temperature roller coaster tomorrow, but colder air will arrive again soon. We'll let you know when that could be and if there's a wintry mess coming with it.
A deal to pause tariffs on Canada and Mexico. The new agreement and plans for tariffs on another country to start tomorrow.
People here are appreciative of watching football again.
Coming off an incredible season, the Commanders hoping to keep the momentum going. What the owner has to say about changing the team name.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan. Susan Tran has a night off. Tonight, we're learning more about the investigation into the deadly mid-air collision at Reagan National Airport. Earlier today, pieces of the American Airlines plane recovered from the Potomac River. You can see the huge crane here. So far, the remains of 55 of those who've died have positively been identified. DC News Now's Max Marcella joining us live from the airport tonight. And Max, officials called today a successful one, but still a lot of work remains.
Work remains, Chris, both in trying to find and identify the last of the 67 people who died in this tragedy, as well as figure out how this all happened. Now, tonight, we got an update from the NTSB as far as the investigation and saw as pieces of the plane were pulled from the Potomac. Beyond the runway at DCA, crews continue their work pulling the American Airlines passenger jet out of the Potomac River.
I think we were very successful today.
In a matter of hours on Monday, the fuselage, the main body of the plane, as well as one of two engines and the right wing, were taken out of the water.
Over the next 24 hours, our goal is really to complete our commitment to finishing the civilian plane recovery.
The other part of the mission is recovering the remains of those who were lost. Officials say 55 sets of remains have been positively identified. Other remains have been found and are with the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner awaiting identification.
We think we've got a great, solid plan that we've executed on a number of occasions now successfully as far as a dignified recovery of those remains.
As the work on the Potomac continues, the NTSB is sharing an update on the investigation. Investigators now have training and flight logs for both flight crews as well as maintenance logs for both aircrafts. They also have interviewed all 5 people working in the tower and are now working to synchronize flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder data from both the plane and the helicopter.
We should have a better picture once the cockpit data recorders and that are analyzed.
Tomorrow, crews say the goal is to remove the cockpit from the Potomac River, and then we're also expecting a briefing from the NTSB, another update on the investigation. Reporting live at DCA, Max Marcella, DC News Now.
Max, thanks. Meanwhile, among the victims, 3 U.S. Army soldiers on that Black Hawk helicopter. They're based at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, just outside Mount Vernon. Also on the American Airlines flight, members of the figure skating community, as well as mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, and educators. Officials say they're confident all remains will be found. Meanwhile, friends and family continue to honor their loved ones. DC News Now's Liberty Simmons is at Dangerfield Island with more on how they're being remembered.
We have been seeing people come by leaving behind flowers in honor of the victims, paying their respects. And over the weekend, we learned the name of the final soldier killed. Captain Rebecca Lobach is being remembered as a fearless and talented pilot. A bouquet of flowers placed near the Potomac River near Washington's Reagan National Airport on Monday after 67 people were killed in a mid-air collision last week, marking the deadliest U.S. air disaster since 2001.
She really inspired my entire career.
DC Guard member Lexi Frias remembers Captain Rebecca Lobach. Lobach was the co-pilot in the Black Hawk during the crash.
If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be an aviation officer.
In a statement, White House Historical Association President Stuart McLaurin also remembers Lobach's time as a White House military social aide, saying in part, quote, "I was heartbroken to learn that one of these bright stars, U.S. Army Captain Rebecca Lobach, was aboard the helicopter and lost her life in the horrible crash. I knew Rebecca. She attended all of our events with the social aides, and I saw her very recently at the White House." Another friend, Davis Winkie, remembered their time together in ROTC, saying in a statement in part, "Rebecca was brilliant and fearless, a talented pilot and a PT stud. Rebecca played a crucial role in helping me navigate the hardest periods of my personal life. I owe her so much." DMV attorney Kia Duggins was also killed in the crash. She worked at the Civil Rights Corps and was set to be a professor at Howard University. Wichita State staff remembered how instrumental she was while giving back with a food pantry on campus.
Kia was a force. She was going to change the world.
And we also reached out to the family of Black Hawk pilot Andrew Eves. They did not wish to go on camera at this time, but they say they are grieving and focusing on funeral arrangements. For now, in Alexandria, Liberty Simmons, DC News Now.
Meanwhile, a live look right now at Reagan National. The Washington Post reporting 2 airport workers have been arrested. They are accused of leaking airport surveillance video of the crash. It was shared to CNN late last week. Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority employee Mohammed Bengoua was arrested Friday. He is charged with computer trespass for making an unauthorized copy of airport's authority records. Jonathan Savoy was arrested Sunday. He is charged with computer trespass. Both have since been released. All right, for full coverage of the mid-air collision, head to our website, dcnewsnow.com. You'll find more about all the victims and the latest on the investigation when we're not on air 24/7. All right, let's get a check on the forecast. Meteorologist Damon Matson in for Janessa tonight. Rescue crews had a pretty decent weather-wise day today on the Potomac, and tomorrow looks okay as well for them.
Yeah, very thankful too that the weather has cooperated these last several days for the workers, and we'll wring one more nice day out of it all here as we head into Tuesday. Now, the one change up from the weekend too that we all have noticed was the fact that it was warmer out there today. Most of the DMV climbing into the 50s. We even had some locations well into the 60s as you went off to the south. How about Fredericksburg? 65. Cumberland and Kaiser reached up to 61. Had a little bit of a cooler pocket here in north central Maryland, but still 40s, not too bad. And as we've gone into the night now, most of those temperatures have tumbled back down into the upper 30s, low to mid 40s, but we still do have some slightly warmer spots like Fredericksburg and Lexington Park there in the upper 50s. So still quite the spread. But as we head into the day on Tuesday, no major concerns for the start of your day. We'll actually still be on the warmer side in the 40s, climbing right back into the 50s once that sun comes up. Now, we'll see this upturn in temperatures again tomorrow, but is there some much colder air and messy weather soon on the horizon? We'll have your full forecast coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, we'll see you then. Meanwhile, all new tonight, Maryland Supreme Court upholding a law that ends the state's statute of limitations for child sexual abuse lawsuits. The Child Victims Act became law in 2023. It was shortly after the state's attorney general released a report documenting rampant abuse committed by Baltimore clergy over an 80-year period. The law was challenged by defendants facing abuse lawsuits. The court ruled 4-3 that the General Assembly had the authority to change the law. And new tonight in Virginia, Fairfax County Police say they've arrested a man who stabbed one of their officers. It happened at Fair Lakes Parkway in Fair Lakes today. It's not clear what led to that stabbing, but we do know the officer was responding to a suspicious person call. That officer was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect was arrested on scene. And in the district, police are searching for the gunman who shot and killed a man inside his car in Southeast. It happened early Sunday morning on Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue. They say Ahmed Madim of Alexandria, Virginia was shot 6 times. If you know anything about this deadly shooting, police want to hear from you. And all new tonight, the Senate has confirmed Chris Wright as U.S. Energy Secretary. Wright has been one of the energy industry's loudest voices against efforts to fight climate change. He said his first focus would be on unleashing American energy and increasing energy production in the U.S. The Senate approved his nomination 59-38. In more national news, the leaders of Canada and Mexico, they have reached separate agreements with President Trump to pause planned tariffs for at least 1 month. The move came after both countries took steps to address President Trump's concerns about border security and drug trafficking. Mexico and Canada are America's two largest trading partners. Canada's prime minister is saying his government will name a fentanyl czar, list Mexican cartels as terrorist groups, and launch a task force with the U.S. to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. The 10% tariff on China is still set to start tomorrow. The Washington Commanders name, well, it's here to stay. Team owner Josh Harris says he is not changing it. Harris inherited the name when he bought the franchise in 2023. He says the name has come to be embraced by players, coaches, staff, and fans. In 2020, former owner Dan Snyder changed the team's name, opting to call the franchise the Washington Football Team for one season before settling on the Commanders.
I think it's now being embraced by our team, by our culture, by our coaching staff. And so we're going with that.
Well, Harris also saying they're still working through a process of deciding if, when, and where they may build a new stadium, but he did not give a timeline. Later tonight on Game Night, DC News Now sports reporter Brandy Flores goes one-on-one with Josh Harris about the name and also that future stadium site. Coming up.